I decided today to honor Raiders Nation because last night at 1 a.m., the Raiders decided to finally pull the mother effing plug on the Raiders. Josh McDaniels' career with the team, which needed to end. That needed to end. It needed to end big time because I was like, Josh McDaniels screwed over. Well, first of all, Broncos 2 seasons, 2009, 2010. He got fired halfway through the season of season 2 and then crawled back to the Niners, where he had a great run. He had the quarterback, he had the golden ticket, and he got it done with the Patriots as an offensive coordinator, because that's all he is an offensive coordinator, in my opinion. Like a North Turner, he had the ultimate quarterback. He got it done. He goes to the Broncos, where, doesn't even survive 2 seasons. Doesn't even survive 2 seasons with the Broncos. And Tim Tebow didn't want to play. 8-8, then 3-9. Everything fell apart. 2009, 2010. Has another great run with the Patriots. Decides in 2018 to take the Colts job, and at the last minute decides he doesn't want it. Screws over the franchise, screws over the fans, screws over everybody. And then Mark Davis, who in any universe is not his father. No universe is he his father. He was nepotism, hated the franchise. And not all owners are very good businessmen, because they pay players, they pay coaches, and they just think money can throw it away. Look at Dolan. Dolan, all the shit he's done with the Knicks. So Mark Davis brings in Gruden, and Gruden comes out with 10 years, $100 million. And he wasn't the same coach as he was. He inherited a Bucks team. Think about it. Went to the Raiders, got out of there, went to the Bucks, took over Tony Dungy's team, and then led him to a Super Bowl. And then after that, pretty much didn't do anything. Gets this job, goes into broadcasting, gets another job, 10 years, $100 million. All this shit comes out about, this racist emails, all that stuff, so they get rid of him. They bring in, so you think 2021, the franchise is in serious trouble. They're not playing good football. And they let the special teams coordinator, and I don't want to butcher his name, Rich Bisaccia, bring him in. He goes 7-5 the rest of the way. They have to beat the Chargers to make the playoffs. They get to the playoffs. They lose to the Bengals. And I remember there was a controversial call in that game, but they got to the playoffs. And they decided at the end of the season, let's bring in Josh McDaniels, because Mark Davis is a fantastic owner. Franchise falls in his lap. Can't pay for a haircut. Thinks he's this quirky guy. Everybody talks about him, but he is not his dad. He has never been his dad. But he is given a franchise because that's how it works a lot of times. Families take over, and some of the Hunt family think, hey, it's also getting a generational quarterback with Patrick Mahomes. They didn't have a great one. And you bring in a great coach with Andy Reid. What have the Raiders done? They bring back Josh McDaniels. And he turns a team that went 10-7 the year before into a 6-11 piece of shit. This year, they are 3-5. They played a terrible Monday night game, and everybody's been talking about, when is it time for him to go? Well, they got rid of him. They got rid of the GM. And Antonio Pierce, who kind of left ASU, well, there was a little bit going on right there at the end with ASU. A lot of problems off the field, a lot of problems with the players. But he says, I'm from Compton. I was born to be a Raider. Okay. And they love him. They love him in the locker room. He's never had head coaching experience. Not that means anything. But, they're going to give him the rest of the season. They got a new GM, an assistant GM. They gave him his shot. We're going to see what happens. They play the Giants, who Pierce played for during his playing career. They got rid of him. They got rid of Dave Ziegler, who they both played together. Ziegler and McDaniels were teammates at John Carroll University together. So now they're both gone. They brought in, so they tried to do Patriots West, and Patriots West didn't happen because they don't have Tom Brady. And Jimmy G is benched now for Aiden O'Connell, the rookie out of Purdue, and we're going to see what happens. But as Raider Nation, you've got guys, Josh Jacobs. They said, what do you have to do to fix the offense? He goes, that's not my job. Devontae Adams smashing his helmet, where he had 2 wide open deep passes that Jimmy G couldn't get him the fucking ball on Monday night. They are wasting Jimmy G's. Hunter Renfrow, I don't know why he was in doghouse. This guy was a catching machine before Josh McDaniels got there, and Josh McDaniels thinks he knows better with everything. Thank you, Josh. Thank you for being here. And the lights should be, I got new, look at this. The lights incredible on YouTube right now. I got try to fix some stuff up. So hopefully this is much better than it's been. So I'm working on a lot of, we're just trying to make things better here. But I was so pissed off when I was thinking about, I would not even at the team, I'm thinking about the fans. And they are loyal fucking fans, man. Raiders Nation, that is a loyal fan base. Give them a product they can appreciate. Give them a product that they can be proud of. Mark Davis, now it's up to you. Who are you going to bring in to coach a team? Now, I keep saying Harbaugh. But who are you bringing in? Because DeMeco Ryans is going to turn around the Texans. You need a guy that's going to come in and get the job done and stop, just because you're an owner of an NFL team doesn't mean you're the smartest man in the room. I mean, Jerry Jones thinks he's the smartest goddamn guy in the room. And where's it got him? When's the last time they won a title? 96? But he still thinks every year we're going to get it done. Well, Jerry Jones, as long as you run the reins as you do, I'm sorry, Daniel. I'm sorry, Lanker. But I just don't see them winning anything because their owner thinks he knows everything. And he doesn't. You got to hire smart people. And you have to have a quarterback to run the show. And maybe there isn't another. There's Mahomes out there. And we're, Jordan Love, I just read, they're still waiting to see with Jordan Love with Green Bay. Is he supposed to come in and tear up the league? Then that would be the case. All these teams would be playing great. But, guys need time to develop. You have to see changes. You have to see improvements. I need to see improvement, yes. But I don't expect that. They can't blow out of the gate. Not everybody's going to blow out the gate. And even Brady had to get a chance. And let's be honest. They got to that AFC Championship game, and Brady got hurt and against Pittsburgh, and Drew Bledsoe would have come in and actually won the game for them to get into the Super Bowl. And people, I think, forget about that stuff. But Bledsoe came in and helped win that goddamn game and helped them win that championship. But you need Brady is a generational talent. We know that. 7 Super Bowl titles. Come on. Yeah, that's what and the Raiders, Jimmy G isn't the answer. Jimmy G was never the answer. Jimmy G is a good backup. He is probably the best looking quarterback in the NFL. If quarterbacking was based on looks, Jimmy G would be the greatest of all time. But unfortunately, it's not. He does 9 interceptions this year, not getting. Josh Jacobs lit it up last season. Why isn't he there's line help, but it's coaching everything. And, McDaniels is now going to have to look deep inside. What's he going to go back? Is he going to go back with the Patriots? They said he's going to collect $40 million. They had to pay $60 million to John Gruden. It's nice that he can throw away $100 million there, Mark Davis. I'm glad you can throw it out. I'm glad you got a sweet deal now in Vegas. You could sell it every game. Fans are going to come from other cities to come see their teams play in Vegas. It's a win-win, right? You're making money, but I really think it should matter what the product is in the field because I feel like Jerry Jones is making all this money, but Dallas fans are loyal too. And I think they're tired of every year being this team that, the team that every year you're going to hear about, and then they don't get it done and they choke in the playoffs and they don't, Dak Prescott, the next quarterback, whatever. There was Roger Staubach. There was Troy Aikman. And no Troy Aikman, they said, oh, we didn't throw for this much. Well, you had Aikman, you had Emmitt Smith, and you had Michael Irvin, and you brought in Haley, and you had a defense, and you had Jimmy Johnson, who was a phenomenal fucking coach. Phenomenal coach. Then he turned that whole franchise around, traded with Herschel Walker, got all those draft picks, and built a winner. And they, he should, and if Jerry Jones' ego hadn't got in the way, they would have won 4 or 5 in a row. I think so. They really would have. And they still won a third one with the former Sooner coach. They won a third title. So, I feel for you, Raider fans. I feel for you. I feel like you are getting fucked over by your ownership. They fuck you at the drive-thru. They fuck you with the drive-thru, man. It's bullshit. I went to see a show last night. What the hell was it called? The Guttenberg musical, whatever it was. Josh Gad and Andy Reynolds. I would say his name wrong. The guys were in Book of Mormon. Very funny guys. Not a great play. I thought it wasn't really a story, but they were talented, whatever. But across, what the best part of the show was to me? That Jason Alexander, George Costanza was sitting right across the aisle from me. So there's a point where they have a cameo by a famous person at the end of the show, and it was Jason Alexander. But I was more excited that George Costanza was sitting across from me because I just had watched an episode where he got to go pregnant. He goes, "My boys can swim. My boys can swim." And how much joy he brings me. And now I think about the Raiders fan, how much joy they are devoid of with this franchise. They put so much into this team, and the team doesn't get. And I'm not blaming the players. I'm blaming the coaching staff. I'm blaming, you really need a guy to lead. You need a great guy to lead, and you need a great quarterback. And they've had, Kenny Stabler. That team, Jim Plunkett was a guy who was a former first-round draft pick. You think about those glory days, and the 70s, 80s, they were phenomenal. 90s, they found 2003, they said they blew the Super Bowl, and that was ugly against the offensive lineman disappeared when AWOL, and that was the end of that. They lost Super Bowl, and that was the end of the glory days. And since then, they didn't make the playoffs. They finally made the playoffs again, and now they're going back to the shitter. And that's not the way. It's just win, baby. Just win, baby. And growing up, man, that team was awesome. They had just guys that nobody else wanted. They threw the deep ball. They ran the ball. They played hard. Marcus Allen in that Super Bowl, 38-9. And Al Davis didn't like him. And then he ended up, why. So Al Davis had his faults too. But he had good coaching. He had great coaching, great players. Madden. Then he had in the 80s, man, I'm blanking on his name. Who was the Raiders coaches? How come I'm blank? I see his face. How come I can't remember? Raiders Super Bowl coaches, and I can't. Tom Flores. Tom Flores was a hell of a coach. Hell of a coach. And Plunkett, won 2 championships. They beat that year when they beat in 83 when they beat the Redskins. Redskins were the best, highest scoring team. They'd played the Super Bowl in the strike shortened season. They came back, and that Redskins team was a offensive juggernaut. Jack Squirick, that interception before halftime, what was it, 21-3? I remember I taped that game, watched that game. I remember Reagan talking after the game that we have our own secret weapon in Marcus Allen. And Marcus Allen glided. And then he, falling out there, then went. And that season, I had went to a playoff game when they beat the Steelers in that Super Bowl season at the LA Coliseum. Then they went to Oakland. But it's the Raiders. So, this is a franchise, man. This is like a great, great franchise. Yeah, and that's what I have to say about that. Stockton plays today against Montclair State. They lost early in the season. I sent a note to Thomas. I said, Thomas, you are a great player. You're a great kid. You're even a better kid. And I said, you're going to go out there. I said, they talked a lot of shit. I went to the game. They talked a lot of shit last time you played them. I said, you're a great player. Your team is young and hungry. They don't know who they're dealing with this time. Play your game. You got this. I said, I believe in you. Get it done. Oh, Chris Schick. Yes, Chris Schick. You know what, Chris? I agree with you. The Raiders are the Cowboys of the AFC. They are. But the problem is, at least the Cowboys are winning some games. But I agree. Shitty ownership and shitty results. And you need a quarterback. I agree. It's a tough franchise. It's embarrassing. Deplorable. This infuriating, frustrating. Everything. Think of every adjective you can think of as a fan. And that's why I put the picture up with Max Crosby. Max Crosby plays his goddamn ass off. I saw this stat today about Max Crosby that I want to get this. I want to make sure I get this right because I don't want to waste. Yeah, from Dalton Miller. He's officially in that top tier of edge rushers in the NFL along with Garrett, Parsons, Watt, and Bosa. Crazy that he remains so effective while playing the NBA equivalent of 47 minutes a game. Dalton Miller said he played 129 more defensive snaps than any other edge rusher last season. And that's what he said. He thought he heard on TV that he's playing 97% of the defensive snaps this season. That's absurd. That's absurd. Think about that. That's how much this guy plays. He has a motor that just keeps going and going and going. You saw the tattoo on his torso. Michigan said, well, if he has another kid, where are they going to put the second kid? He says one of his 11 hours for a tattoo. 11 hours. It is majestic to look at, but there's no effing way I get a tattoo like that. And Josh Dubois is my favorite. He said, Raiders have gone 5 straight games without throwing multiple TD passes, longest active streak in the NFL. The franchise longest 12 done in 2003, 2006, 2008. They haven't scored more than 19 points in a game this season. 19 points haven't scored. No. 19 points, 3-5. McDaniels was 9-16 in 2 seasons. Yeah. Didn't last 2 seasons in Denver, won 11-17. So 8-8, 3-9 in Denver, 2009, 2010. 6-11, 3-5. He's done. Him and Ziegler done. McDaniels signed a 6-year contract. They're gonna pay. They're fully guaranteed. Fully guaranteed. Thank you, Joe Pompliano. And I couldn't find out the exact details, but he made at least $10 million plus a season. $10 million plus for that putz. I'm sorry. How does he deserve this money? Josh McDaniels, because he was offensive coordinator with the Patriots? Really? $10 million? Another white coach who fucking sucks? I'm glad Antonio Pierce gets a chance. I'm glad he does. Why not? Why shouldn't he get a chance? We need more diversity in the fucking game anyway. More than half the players are African-American. Minority players. And we can't get, it's all white, lily white on the fucking sideline. It drives me crazy. If they're good enough to play the game, African-American are good enough to play the game, how come they're not good enough to coach them? So a white guy has to come up like Brandon Staley, and he's or John Carroll University with Josh McDaniels, and he's the guy who's going to coach the team and make them great? Are you kidding me? Kyle Shanahan? Yes, he's a good coach. But you know what? Jason just sent me an interesting fact that the winning percentages of Kyle Shanahan and Brandon Staley are basically even Steven. Yes, even Steven. Yes, that Brandon Staley is a 537 winning percentage and Kyle Shanahan has a 538. And really? And Staley has a generational quarterback talk about Justin Herbert. It's not leading to any goddamn wins. There's a lot of coaches out there, a lot of assistant coaches that don't get a shot. The enemy, they're going to say, okay, he's not doing that great with Washington this year. Whole new quarterback, Sam Howell's in his first goddamn season. And, they're going to, well, he didn't have Patrick Mahomes. Who the hell has Patrick Mahomes? Who has Tom Brady? You need a quarterback. And I'm not bashing Sam Howell, but it's really his first year in the NFL. The game has to slow down for him, and it's going to take time. Everything takes time. But we have no patience. It's like, what have you done for me lately? It's always, what have you done for me lately? It really is. It is. Yeah, I was fired up for today. I was fired up. Very fired up. At 1 o'clock in the morning, you get this thing. You're like, holy shit. I was happy they got rid of him because I never thought Josh McDaniels should have been the head coach. And Josh Dubois the best. He said he lost to an undrafted D2 rookie quarterback making first start, Tyson Bagent. Lost to a high school coach in first NFL game, the former Colts coach, former UNC, name escapes me right now. Lost to blew double-digit lead to quarterback who never practiced with team. Can't remember who that was. Blew biggest lead in franchise history, 20 points. Remember that. Blew 3 other double-digit leads. Got shot out in a game when starting offense didn't cross midfield. Had 4th game in franchise history with 80 or fewer yards rushing and passing. Yeah. The list goes on and on and on. Yeah. Colts coach. I think it was 2022, right? Not Shane Sticken. Yeah. It's Jeff Saturday. Remember Jeff Saturday? That's who we lost to. First game. And I thought I wasn't a fan of The Office, but this guy Derek put something up. He said Mark Davis waiting until Halloween to fire him, like Michael Scott. Michael Scott, Pam, I have to let somebody go today. This is the hardest thing I've ever had to do. Pam said, why did he put it off until Halloween? Because it's very scary stuff. But that was kind of funny. Yeah. Yeah, Mark Davis would not comment, but of course, afterwards, what are you going to say? Offensive struggles, 268.3 yards per game, which is better only than Giants, 15.8 points per game, only better than Giants and Pats. They failed to score more than 19 points in the game. So last year, Matt Rule was fired after 5 games, 1-4 with the Panthers. He was let go. Josh Jacobs pissed off. And the Jets tried to get Mike Evans, and they tried to get Devontae Adams. They didn't get either one, but they tried. So Champ Kelly was the associate GM. I think that's what he was. Now he's like, hey, I'm ready to do this job. He's not looking at it as a temporary thing. He goes, this is a job I want to do, and he hopes to succeed at it. I agree with him. And the Jimmy G, what did Marcus Bosher put? 6 games. His Raiders, they benched him indefinitely, which I think they should have. Yeah. So Raiders, since Davis took over the control of the team after the deficits filed in 2011. Hugh Jackson, catastrophe. Dennis Allen, no. Tony Sperano, Jack Del Rio, Gruden. I don't want to butcher his name. He didn't really sign him. He was there already. Bisaccia, and then McDaniels, right? But think about that. Hugh Jackson, who, Hugh Jackson, that was a nightmare. He was not good. Yeah, the Office reference. You like the Office reference? I never watched a show. Not even one episode. But a lot of bad. Dennis Allen. Yeah, Dennis Allen was not ready for this job. Tony Sperano. Tony Sperano was an offensive coordinator. That's it. Jack Del Rio. They had one good year. Then Derek Carr got hurt the season. They lost in the playoffs to the Texans. Gruden was another guy past his prime. So Mark Davis, your father died 2011, and you've taken this franchise and flush it down the toilet. And I'm glad, I'm just amazed. You can't. You know what I think I wrote today? You can't pick your family, and you can't pick your owner, because the owner, as you can see with the Knicks and the Rangers and the Yankees and the Mets, and the list goes on and on and on. Owners don't mean they know what they might be good business people, but they're not good at the business of sports. And you have to hire the right people to run your business. Sports business. This is a different business. You have to have the right personnel. You have to get the right players. And they don't get it. And they throw money at people like the hot new thing. The hot new thing, it's always about how long they've been doing this. And sometimes the hot new thing doesn't, they're given the keys to the castle, and it's too much. They're not ready for prime time. Josh McDaniels was never ready for prime time. Josh McDaniels is a role player. He's not a leading man. He was never a leading man. Look at him. He's a never-she looking guy. He's like a little nerdy little guy you want to slap on the head and go, hey, McFly. That's what he is. He's not that guy. Kind of like, McCarthy is not a leading man. Kyle Shanahan, yes, but I feel like, and then Andy Reid. Andy Reid is he's a mad scientist. That's what Andy Reid is, a mad scientist. And he got the quarterback, and they're going to be fine. They lost the game here. He'll get the team better. He'll get them ready for the playoffs. He'll be ready for every scenario. They're a very good team. And the Bengals, I'm curious to see what the Bengals are going to do. I don't know if Zach Taylor is a primetime guy, because I feel like they should have won the Super Bowl against the Rams a couple years ago, and I thought they should have beaten the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. So I don't know about that. There's a lot of ifs. We're going to see how that plays out going forward. Yeah, that's what I feel. Yeah, and when I see the G-Men brought in Matt Barkley to their practice squad. Matt Barkley, I remember, had a great junior season. They said he should have came out, didn't. He was starting since he was a freshman at USC. And I feel like he's another guy. I remember the movie Hoop Dreams. There was a kid who was the star of the team as a freshman, and he ended up kind of petering out, played college basketball. But AG was the guy who was a late bloomer. When I was at UNC, it was Vince Carter, and it was I'm sorry, I'm blanking on names today. It was Vince Carter, but the player of the year, it was 1999 college basketball. Who was UNC? I love when this happens. UNC 1990. Jesus Christ. Can you piss me off more, phone? Can you piss me off more? UNC 19. Oh, Anton Jamison. Anton Jamison was the man. And Vince Carter was the side piece. He was not a role player, but it was Jamison's show. He was the college player of the year. But Vince Carter, I thought, was showing signs of exploding. And then went pro, and, Jamison had a solid career, but Carter was the star. I mean, Vinsanity was amazing. And, I forget where I'm going with this. I kind of lost my point right there. Nah. You think he'll go back? I mean, he might. But I think they got Bill O'Brien there, and I think it's not going to help who they bring in right now. They don't have the talent on that team right now. I think he always thought he could just fill pieces in, and it didn't happen. Yeah, so I remember, when I was in school, and then who became the superstar was Vinsanity, not Jamison. Jamison was a solid pro, but not a great pro, where Vinsanity, sometimes a late bloomer is okay. And I feel like we don't take time to develop. Now, Zach Wilson's never going to be that guy. Zach Wilson is a day player, in my opinion. And Bumble said to me, he said, well, what does it matter if they bring in Evans or Devontae Adams? They're going to throw a 5-yard out to him. They're going to throw a little screen pass. I mean, I agree. I mean, I feel like Devontae Adams would not be happy. I feel like they're wasting Garrett Wilson because they can't open up that offense. And, you know, they got a huge game Monday night. Now I might be going to the game Monday night. I have a 4:30 pickup tomorrow morning to go to the airport. I'm going to Texas at a 6:10 flight in the morning. I haven't packed. I haven't done shit yet. But I had to get a show out because I just realized, I think today's the day 10 in a row of these. I don't know how many shows I'm going to do in Texas, but I'm definitely going to try to do something. Maybe I'll even just some little live burst. Because I'm hoping we go Saturday. We're going to the football game Saturday. And I'm hoping Sunday, any moves are for next year with Adams. You think Adams coming to the Jets next year? Or you think they're going to finish out the season? Well, right now the trade deadline passed. But yeah, I think he's going to want to go. He wants to win a ring. And unless they bring in Harbaugh or a big-time coach, I mean, I guess we're going to see what happens. I want to see who's the next big assistant out there. Is there a college guy out there that everybody's going to go crazy for? Maybe Dabo Swinney. No, I'm just kidding. He's not that guy. But yeah, I mean, so I'll be in Texas over the weekend. And I love the city because the city today, I'm walking home and a homeless guy has his pants down and is wiping his ass and taking stuff out of the garbage with his ass, bare ass. Right in front of me. I'm like, oh, I love living in the city. This is the thing. Just like oblivious to the world. And should I have talked about that? I don't know. But I just really was like, what the fuck? And then last night when we left the show, because there was noise going on during the show, there were cars in the street, like lowriders, all dressed up, cars dressed up for Halloween. I never saw that in my life. All on the block we were on. Packed with cars. All lit up, everything. I mean, so you see a guy wiping his ass today. Yesterday, we see a car show. It was all really cool. The city's a very interesting place. Very interesting place. Okay, so I sent something. I didn't know if Bill would like it. But I said, hey, you know what? I got to say what I got to say. Got to keep it real. Yeah, so I have to keep it real. Call me Uncle John. I appreciate that. I think I'll take that as a positive. Because I was going to go to the game tonight. I'm tired, man. You know, and I got to be up at the crack of dawn. It's just, you know, can't do everything. Can't do everything, right? You can't. Oh, the Raiders. The Vikings, Kirk Cousins, season-ending injury Sunday. Monday, he was at the Vikings Kids Club trick-or-treat trail, signing autographs and meeting young fans. Classy guy. That's a guy who's a free agent. You know, I mean, Raiders, what the hell? I mean, you know, if he come back healthy, I don't know. But I don't know. I think Kirk Cousins might look good. Well, I think he's definitely a better quarterback than Jimmy G. And Travis Kelce, man, dude, he has filed 5 new trademarks. Travis Kelce, Killer Trav, All Right Nah, Flight 87, and Kelsey's Crunch. I guess he wants a new cereal. Indicates plans to offer pins, posters, bobbleheads, clothing, and a cereal per Josh Gerben. Great. I love these trademarks because I know I want to buy this stuff. And the Bears fired running backs coach David Walker. The human resources department was involved in the decision. What the hell? I mean, Matt Eberfluss, dude, you are a train wreck. And they said they're playing better football now. No, Matt Eberfluss, another hire. You were like consternation with. That's another franchise that used to be one with Hallis and the 85 Bears and Ditka. They have fallen on very, very hard times. Bears Nation cannot be happy with that. Yeah, Eberfluss sucks. Yeah. In September, Bears defensive coordinator Alan Williams resigned, but there was something with him. They didn't give a reason for him resigning, and now the human resources says this guy. I mean, you got a shit show there, and that it falls to the coaching staff too. Yeah, it's a little messy right there. And Cardinals, multiple women interviewed by ESPN said Bidwell, the owner, presided over discriminatory treatment of female business staff through workplace practices designed to keep them separate from men on the football side, per Josh Weinfuss of ESPN. Like I said, just because he's an owner, and again, another nepotism took over from his dad, who also was a cheap-ass motherfucking owner. And the son, I've heard a lot of shitty stuff, and this is all coming out now. Well, Mark Davis, another franchise, the Cardinals had a couple good years, and now they're, at least they got a coach Gannon, but that's another franchise in flux. There's more franchises in flux than there are that are stable franchises, right? What do you think? I mean, that's another franchise that's been through the shitter. Texans, hey, okay, we're going to see what they can do. Bad loss. Let's see what they come back from that. Ritter is out. Taylor Heineke's in with Atlanta. Great. Well, Ritter has the most turnovers in the league thanks to 7 fumbles and 6 interceptions. Another guy not ready for prime time. No, Ritter was a guy you got a couple games in last year, and your other the kid out of Oregon went AWOL, the Heisman Trophy winner, who's now with the Eagles backup quarterback, isn't he right now? Isn't he the Eagles? Yeah, he went to get knee surgery last year. He was on quarterbacks. Yeah, Jalen Hurts. Yeah, Mariota. So Mariota, that kind of fell in the shitter. So now Heineke was brought in. Desmond Ritter was supposed to be the quarterback. He really isn't playing that well. Taylor Heineke's going to be the quarterback. We'll see how long that's going to happen. I guess they're going to go game by game. We'll see what happens on that front. And then we have the college football playoff. Now, Ohio State is number 1, deservedly, because they beat Notre Dame as a top 10 team. They beat Penn State as a top 10 team. Michigan hasn't beaten anybody. So they're 1. Georgia's 2, Michigan's 3, and Florida State is 4. Florida State did beat an LSU team who really hasn't been great this season. Georgia hasn't beaten a ranked team all season. Yeah, okay. They're 8-0 through 8 games. They beat number 9 Penn State, number 12 Notre Dame. Okay, Georgia, Michigan have been dominant. They haven't played a currently ranked opponent. That'll change in November because Michigan will play Penn State, which isn't a top. Penn State is a top 25 team. Penn State is not that good a team. Penn State, but you're going to play the dump, and that's going to decide everything. And maybe both, if it's a close game, maybe both teams will still get into college football playoff. Florida State hasn't faced a test tougher than Clemson, which is 4-4, 31-24, and they have the most favorable schedule. Now, Washington and Oregon can beat each other up, but I think Oregon has a chance to beat Washington in the pack. I think they're playing better now that they could sneak into the college football playoff. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, I mean, listen. I mean, yeah, Marvin Harrison is a superstar. Georgia, they have a win against a ranked team coming. The only win against a ranked team coming against Kentucky, which is now outside the top 25. They just beat Florida. Georgia will be tested next week. They host Missouri 12. Missouri, they're going to beat the shit out of Missouri. Then they face Ole Miss, and they're traveling to Knoxville to take on number 17, Tennessee. I just think the SEC is down, and I think the top is up here, and everybody else is kind of way, way down. I just don't think there are a lot of great teams. I don't know how good Georgia is. I don't think Carson Beck has really had a very tough game. He's had some tough games, but I don't think he's going to be tested. I guess we're going to see Michigan. Yeah, JJ McCarthy. They 5.9 points per game, but they haven't played anybody. They're going to go to Penn State, then they're going to play the Buckeyes. Florida State, yeah. I mean, we're going to have to see what happens. Yeah, and interestingly enough, Tulane is ahead of Air Force 8-0 for out of the the group of 5 teams for a New Year's 6 bowl, which is kind of interesting. So we'll see what happens there. Oh, and then this was interesting. Yeah, this was interesting. Michigan, there's broad support to move forward with a contract extension for Jim Harbaugh. We'll see if that comes to fruition. All this talk goes away. Yes, Josh, it all goes away when we go to a 12-team playoff. Yes, goes all the way. I agree on that front. Yes, he did. Yeah, he did respond there, Bill. Yeah. EJC in about 10 minutes. Okay, good to know. So I was worried that I didn't have a lot of time. So I could talk for at least another 50 minutes, but I'm not going to do that. But I could keep talking, because that's the way I do it. I can really talk. Now, Michigan, there's a picture going around. I thought it was Bobby Valentine, but there's a player dressed up in Central Michigan clothing at the Michigan State game on the Central Michigan sideline, which kind of makes you think, how the hell this happened? Where Connor Stallions was on the sideline for the season opener on the road against Michigan State. A man who resembles Stallions appears to be on the sideline wearing CMU apparel. And I found the picture online. I got to find the picture. Let me see if I can find it. Where is it? Yeah. That's him in the sunglasses. Right there, Josh. Like Bobby Valentine-ish, right? So I saw that. So that's that. I was like, wow, that's interesting. And how did he get to the sidelines? And on top of it, he's wearing What is he wearing? He's wearing CMU apparel. Yeah. And athletic director Amy Folin says the school only became aware of the photos on Monday. Really, dude? Can you stay here, please? Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm talking on my phone. And would have been allegedly, she's looking into it because illegal scout and steal signs from the rival Spartans. It took place on a Friday night while Michigan opened its season against East Carolina. One day later, with Stallions on the sideline, the Michigan staffer did not have a general sideline pass, which are relatively common. Instead, he appears to have a pass that reads VB for visiting bench. Those credentials only given out to opposing teams for coaches, trainers, and staffers. He's also wearing Central Michigan apparel that appeared to be team issued. How do you get all this stuff? And is it really him? But I thought, holy shit, man, that's really interesting. That's some wild shit. That's some wild shit, man. I was like, wow, that's crazy. And The Athletic had a survey of Bruce Feldman and Max Olson. They asked 50 FBS coaches about the seriousness of allegations against Harbaugh. Of those coaches, 94% said Michigan crossed the line. Severity scale 1 to 5, 78%. On a scale 1 to 5, 78% ranked it as a 4 or 5. 47 of the 50 believe Michigan should be punished, but there are levels. There should be some form of it, maybe not. They have decided how far they want to go. Furthermore, 35 says does not have plausible deniability, Harbaugh, which he shouldn't. If he's head coach, he should know what's going on inside his program, which I agree. Yeah, he was unaware of the operation. How are you the head coach and you don't know what's going on with your program? How do you not know? I'm always amazed. I don't know what's going on. You have confidence on your staff. Someone should know. You should have a pulse on your franchise, on your program. You have to. And I love what Mike Teal wrote about Rutgers. He said, number 1 team in the country coming into the dump, 60 degrees in November, 6-2, 5-0 at home. Take that loosely. They barely beat Michigan State at home. If Rutgers fans don't fill the stadium on Saturday, it'll be very disappointing. Every advantage is needed. The energy of the home crowd needs to be won. Okay. Hey, Rutgers, you got a shot against the dump. It could get ugly. Maybe it won't. But I can't see that. I mean, Rutgers, thank God they're going to a bowl game. Congrats to you. It's been a great season. But you are not at that level. Rutgers got blown out. I mean, they played well Michigan a half, and then they got blown out second half. They are playing, I think Ohio State is at a much better level. I would love an upset, though. I mean, I'm not a religious person, but right now I'd like to pray to the football gods to let Rutgers pull one of the greatest upsets ever in the history of football and beat the dump and shut up all those fanatics for the dump thinking this team is that good, and they're not. I just don't think they're that. I mean, I think they're a good team, but their quarterback play is inconsistent, and I don't know. We'll see what happens going forward. And arbitrary analytics, the guy I'm trying to get on from Nebraska, I kind of lost touch with them, but I need to reach out again. Only 2 P5 schools have more than 18 turnovers. Huskers and Michigan State both have 19, and they meet this Saturday. The list of schools with at least 1,500 yards rushing while holding opponents to fewer than 650 rushing on the season. Air Force, UCLA, and Nebraska. And the Big 12 matchups for the 2024 to 2027, there are 4 protected annual rivalries: Arizona State, BYU, Utah, Baylor, TCU, and Kansas State. Okay. All right. I'm okay with that. And Udolis Garcia and Max Scherzer taken off the World Series roster with oblique injuries. The last time a team came back from 3-1 in fall class in 2016, Cubs beat the Indians, now the Guardians. They won the final 2 in Cleveland. I remember Game 7, first championship in 108 years. Teams that have fallen behind 3-1 are 7-42 all-time in the World Series. And the last club to come back from 3-1 before Chicago was the 85 Royals. And remember, the 79 Pirates did the same thing. They came back from 3-1. And they said one of the reasons that, the ratings are not good for this fall classic, there's only one player from this World Series in the top 20 jersey sellers, which I don't think means shit, but I guess it counts for something. Corey Seager is 14, Ohtani's 1, Judge's 3, and Lindor is the only Met on the list at number 19. They said Game 2 was the least watched World Series game ever, 8.15 million viewers. Game 3 was worse, reaching just 8.13, but that was Monday Night Football, and everything else in the sports equinox. So, not good. You also have the 2 lowest, the 5 seed Rangers, the 6 seed Diamondbacks, lowest combined seeds, and the The Rangers last night scored 5 runs with 2 outs in consecutive innings for the first time ever. They are 10-0 on the road. 10-0 on the road in these playoffs. Texas. And ask to kill how that Texas can win a World Series over his Houston Astros. In those 10 games, they've outscored the opponent 66-28. And Corey Seager hit his 3rd home run. They said he's up for the MVP of the World Series. Marcus Semien, who has been hitting like shit this series, 5 runs dropped and knocked in. A former Met, Travis Jankowski, starting to place Garcia, had 2. 2 RBIs also. Pretty good, right? And they're a win away. And Bruce Bochy, they said, could be up for a Hall of Fame. Guy's won 3 World Series titles. 4, and he's taken, this is his 13th World Series. I would say that he's getting the job done, right? You would say he's getting the job done. I would say he's getting the job done. Yeah, I would say, hell yeah. And Ketel Marte, 20 postseason games in his 9-year MLB career. He's recorded at least 1 hit in all of them. 4 pitches. He set a singles playoff record. He's had a ton of hits. He's hitting .333, getting to game 4 with 9 extra base hits and 3 stolen bases. Yeah. Kathleen Kiefer, artist. How you doing there? You want to talk any sports? Kathleen, I'd love to hear from you. There's got to be something you'd like to talk about. Let's talk about it. And in the best of 7 series, teams holding 3-1 lead have gone on to win 78 of 92 times, 85%. That's Sarah Langs. The Rangers are the 3rd team with multiple 5+ run innings in a World Series game. They're the first to do it in consecutive innings, joining the 61 Yankees in Game 5. Actually, Game 5, they did the 1st and 3rd. The Yankees in Game 2 of the 36 World Series did in the 3rd and 9th. And Corey Seager, 15 career RBIs in the World Series, one behind Pee Wee Reese for the most ever by a shortstop in World Series history. That's pretty impressive. He passed Concepcion, Carlos Correa, and Frank Cassetti. And Ron Darling and Todd Zeal winning New York Sports Emmys as analysts. Thank you, Andy Martino, for that one. Yeah, they're pretty damn good. Now it's only early season, but Doncic is averaging 39 points a game. Curry's averaging almost 34. Cam Thomas 33. They play the Heat tonight. Donovan Mitchell 32 and De'Aaron Fox 31. And the Knicks beat the Cavs in Cleveland, and they play tonight at MSG. They won last night. They're 2-2. They shot 44 from the field, 38 from 3, 80 from the line. Fred Katz, thank you. And Brunson or Randall, they won't play more than 28 minutes. Randall had 19 points, 10 rebounds. Brunson had 19 points. Quickly at 18 off the bench. Mitchell had 26. There was no Darius Garland was out with a hamstring. Chris LeVert was out with hamstring soreness, and Jared Allen ankle bone bruise. 2-8 since the start of last season. And listen, Wembanyama 115, 114 last night. Wembanyama had 18 points, 8 rebounds, 4 blocks, 5 turnovers. Flushed home a pushback dunk, 1-point game, and then Keldon Johnson stripped Durant on the ensuing inbound and finished at the rim with a beautiful hanging layup for a game-winning bucket. 1.2 seconds left. I was up. I was way in bed by then, but how about that? Bradley Beal still hasn't played, and there's no Devin Booker for the 3rd straight game. And Victor Wembanyama described Kevin Durant as one of my top favorite players ever. Yeah. You know what, Josh? But that's I agree. The Knicks don't have that superstar. You don't have KD. You don't have a guy that you know every night is going to light it up. And that's what they need. Isn't it crazy? You live in the greatest, New York's greatest city in the world. Come on. I'm biased. But the Knicks haven't won a title since before you were born and since I was 4 years old. I mean, that's got to say something, right? That's got to say a lot. That you don't have the talent. You don't have the talent around you that, right. The difference is this team is now finally ready for that star. But you got to find a way to get him into the lineup. You got to find a way to get that guy playing, you know? I mean, I hear what you're saying, Josh, but you need the guy. You need to get that guy, right? You got to get that. Yeah, they're ready, but will it happen? I mean, what a tease, man. Think about it. I mean, I think about 94. How old were you then? Josh had to be, 29 years. Josh was was a kid. I still remember I went at the June 17th on my birthday, 94. That was the day that freaking the white Bronco, they did a thing on ESPN, and that was the Knicks. When Jordan came back, he said, he said, Patrick, you had your shot. You had your shot, Patrick. You didn't do it. You had your shot. Well, hey, he had a shot. Didn't get it done, but had a shot. And, I feel bad, man. I feel bad for Knicks fans. I feel bad. The Nets even went to some more. They went to 2 in a row when they were in Jersey. They had a little run with Byron Scott. I mean, they did go to a couple NBA finals, but the Knicks, it feels like it's been forever. Well, it has been 99, right? Well, that's a long time, dude. And they got swept that year. That was the strike season. They got swept by the Spurs. And I don't know. You think it'll happen again? I mean, you think if they win a title here, they're going to blow up the goddamn city. They'll go crazy. You were 11 in 94, dude. Wow. Dude. 94, man. I was 25. 25, living the dream. Was I living the dream? 94. No, I just was graduating college. I was taking acting classes in the city. Then I was going to go to then eventually at the grad school and stuff. Yeah. Can't look back. My father always said, toothpaste out of the tube, dude. Right. Pops, yep, toothpaste out of the tube. Clippers beat Orlando. They said that Harden won't debut. First game could be Monday versus the Knicks. Did you see DeAndre Jordan in his Taylor Swift costume? That was scary to look at. And Shaq said that before Victor Wembanyama, there was a guy named Bobo. And people were like, nope. But you know what? Bobo can play, but Victor Wembanyama the hype machine is out of control. Golden State's going to have the All-Star Weekend, All-Star Game 2025. And on this date in 1950, Washington Capitals forward Earl Lloyd and Celtics forward Chuck Cooper became the first African-Americans to play in an NBA game. Lloyd was named the Big Cat All-American player at West Virginia State University. He led to an undefeated season in 48. Cooper played college ball for Duquesne, where he was also named an All-American and became the first black college basketball player to play a college game south of the Mason-Dixon line. In the spring of 50, Lloyd and Cooper became the first African-American players to be selected in the NBA draft. Cooper was the first of the two to be chosen. He went 14th overall. When officials from other teams learned of Boston's interest in Cooper, they suggested he shouldn't be drafted because he was black. Walter A. Brown famously announced the owner said, "I don't give a damn if he's striped, played, or polka dot." Boston takes Charles Cooper of Duquesne. He scored 7 points in his debut for the season, a 107-84 loss to the Fort Wayne Pistons. Played 4 years with Boston, traded to the Milwaukee Hawks before ending his career with the Pistons. Lloyd scored 6 points in his debut and played 10 seasons. In 55, he helped lead the Syracuse Nationals to an NBA championship, becoming the first black player to win a league title. They're both now deceased. They're trailblazers. They're all also members of the National Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. You know what? My dad and I, we talked about going there. It never happened. That sucked. Yeah, we talked about the last couple of years too. You know what? If there's things you want to do in life, like ever since the pandemic, and I have a cousin, Hal, who I'm close with, married my cousin, and we really have a bond. And we just, when we hang out, it's like, when we see each other, it's like we're never apart. And I'm going to Texas this weekend. I'm going to see Lottie, his daughter, his baby, first time ever. Wilder and Hayes cracked me up. And we're going to have a good weekend. We're going to go to Austin, see a game at 11 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. Maybe go to Texans game. Maybe play a baseball game with the Sugar baseball team. Yeah. Thank you, Josh. I appreciate it. I appreciate you, Josh. I appreciate you. And, yeah, you got to do things in life. Josh has kids, and I talk to him sometimes, and he's like, we sit and watch a Disney movie. Those are things you remember forever, man. Those are things you remember for the rest of your life. There are moments like that. Life is precious, man. I know. I sound like a Hallmark fucking card. Sometimes like, shut up. So it ends up that Nat Sweetwater Clifton became the third African-American to play an NBA game 3 days after Lloyd and Cooper's debuts. Clifton played 6 years and was named an All-Star in 57. Can you imagine if they had let black players in the NBA or football and baseball and all that, all those times, the Negro Leagues, all those players never got a shot, Josh Gibson, Satchel Paige, all those players, I mean, you think about the players in the Negro Leagues, players that didn't get a chance in the NBA, in the NFL, and you have all these players all these guys, the greatest. You are Disney Pro, Josh. I mean, it's sad. Our history is so sad in a way of, trailblazing. This, we're talking 1950. We're talking 73 years ago. It's not like it was like 300. It was like recent. Well, the 76ers, they said, Zach LaVine and OG Anunoby of the Raptors, they could, with the assets they have and the draft picks, we'll see that. And how about this? Zion Williamson is in his 5th year, and tonight's going to be the first time the Thunder fans will get to see him play in person. That's crazy. And Bobby Marks, 53 out of the 60 players drafted in the 2021-22 first round, so their 3rd or 4th year option exercise, except James Bouknight, declined by Charlotte, 2021. Kai Jones, waived by Charlotte. Josh Primo, waived by the Spurs. Josh Primo had a lot of problems off the court. Keon Johnson, drafted by LA Clippers, waived by Phoenix. Usman Garuba, drafted by Houston, waived by OKC. And Josh Christopher, drafted by Houston, waived by Memphis. This year, 2022, Ty Washington, drafted by Houston, waived by OKC. I thought Ty was going to be a good player at Kentucky. Maybe he'll find his way. He's still young. And Team USA is qualified for the Olympics in men's 3x3 basketball for the first time, and will join the American women who won the first gold medal in Tokyo in 2021 next summer in Paris. The U.S. men's team is number 2 ranked, avoided having to qualify. Number 1 Serbia, which beat U.S. in the gold medal early this year. Number 3 China also clinched Olympic spots. They failed to qualify for the 2020 Olympics, but were gold at the Pan Ams last month to help secure the Paris bid. Jimmy Fredette, remember him? Jimmer from BYU. The women's team is a damn good team. Number 1 is China. Number 3 is France. They won the World Cup gold last summer in Switzerland, the Pan Am gold last month, and they won the first gold in Tokyo in 2021. All right, so let's see what happens. I like the 3x3 game. It's played on a half court with a 12-second. You love the Olympics. What's your favorite sport, Josh? 12-second shot clock with nearly continuous play. Baskets are worth 1 or 2 points, and the winner is either the first team to 21, the leader when the 10-minute clock expires. I watched it. It was fun to watch. It was pretty cool. The women are great. I love the women are actually better than the men, but I love that they took the men qualified, but really the women won gold. So the women should be leading the article, not the freaking men. That's just me. And the Indiana Fever WNBA will the top 4 pick for the 7th straight year. Best odds of the number 1 pick. December 10th. The Fever, Mercury, Sparks, and Storm are all looking to snag the number 1 pick. Some of the players available, Cameron Brink, Paige Beckers could come back. Camila Cardoso for South Carolina. Caitlin Clark, who could also come back. Aaliyah Edwards from UConn. Rakea Jackson from Tennessee. Elizabeth Kitley from Virginia Tech. And Angel Reese from LSU could come back. And the odds-on favorite, defending champ, is the odds-on favorite to win another title, according to FanDuel and DraftKings. They're followed by newly healthy UConn. LSU and UConn also hold number 1 seeds in ESPN's preseason bracketology. And William Nylander extended his season-opening point streak to a Maple Leafs record 9 games. Assisted on John Tavares' goal. They lost 4-1 to the Kings. Vancouver beat Nashville. But what did I see here? Predators, Ryan O'Reilly, 1,000 career games, joins John Tavares as the second player from the 2009 draft class to reach the milestone. He became the 3rd Predators player to record a point in their 1,000th game, too. But how about that? 1,000 games. Tavares has played 1,038. Vancouver is 6-2-1, and Quinn Hughes had 3 assists. Oh, so I need bowling back dude. Bowling is not a sport, dude. Bowling is not a sport. I love you, but bowling's not a sport, dude. No. Hell's to no. Hell no. Nope. Not an Olympic sport. Great. And I just lost my light. I knew that was going to happen. All right, let's get the light back. Now we're back. Beautiful. Little technical difficulty, but we're back again, and that's good. Yes. And I saw this in Instigators Hockey. Matt Herr, who knocked Messier down by the bench in an exhibition game, and Messier has a little look, gets up and gets the puck. Next thing I know, there's Herr with his head down, and Messier hits him with an elbow, boom, right in the nose, and there's blood everywhere. We're all thinking, Matt, you dope. The referee gives Messier 5 and tells Messier he's also at a mark, says, okay, fine. Thank you, Tim Hunter. Hit somebody. As an avid bowler, dude, you can be an avid bowler. That's not an Olympic sport. That's not even a sport. Do you sweat when you bowl? Let's cut all. Let's get back. Okay. Do you sweat when you bowl? Because, you know, you've been on enough of this show that you should just come on and we could talk about this. That should be a whole show. Bowling. These guys go through grueling days bowling a bowling ball. Grueling. Dude, I know the tournaments are grueling, as you said, but is that worthy of an Olympic sport? Have you seen the bowlers? Come on. Yeah, you sweat. Like, do you wear a headband? Do you bring Gatorade there so you don't your electrolytes don't get too low? Bowling, a sport. Yeah, okay. That should be good for about 45 seconds before I fall asleep in front of you. Bowling as an Olympic sport. Bowling as a sport. Yeah, they like golf. Well, golf. No, I mean everybody plays it, but I don't look at it like this grueling. You know, I mean it is a skill, but it's not like an Olympic sport. Well, they're going to have lacrosse as an Olympic sport. They're going to have flag football, which I think is kind of ridiculous. That was in an episode of Sci-Fi. Ridiculous? He said, did you say ridiculous? He said, I said ridiculous. Yeah, okay. All of what I just said? I don't even know what I just said. I was going a stream of consciousness. So I read about her a little bit, that he was born in Hackensack, grew up in New Windsor, New York. He played at Michigan, where he won 2 national championships, 96, 98. He also pitched for the Michigan baseball team from 96, 98, and was selected out of high school by the Braves in the 29th round, drafted by the Capitals. He ended up playing 4 seasons in the NHL. Then he taught history and psychology and coached hockey and baseball at Kent School in Kent, Connecticut. He became executive director of the UPMC Lemieux Sports Complex in Pittsburgh. In 2021, he became the head coach for Washington Pride under-14 majors, the only Tier 1 AAA girls program. He led the team to a 24-20-6 record and ended the season ranked 25th in the country. Following 2022, he coached the team to the USA Hockey National Tournament and one of the best records in the Washington Pride 14 under history. Now, I actually reached out to the Washington Pride to see if I can get him on a thing, but I don't know if that's going to happen, but I did reach out. And the Senators fired general manager Pierre Dorion. They parted ways hours after the Senators were stripped of a first-round pick for the role in a nullified trade involving Evgeny Dadonov. Ottawa must surrender a first-round pick in either 24, 25, or 26 because they failed to properly alert the Knights of Dadonav's no-trade clause. They tried to trade the Knights tried to subsequently trade Dadonov to Anaheim in March of 2022, and transaction the league canceled because the Ducks were on Dadonov's no-trade list. He was the 7th longest tenured GM in the NHL, assumed the role in spring of 2016, replacing longtime GM Brian Murray. First season, they went to Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Final with the loss of the Penguins in overtime. They haven't been back to the Stanley Cup playoffs since. The 6-year drought is the 3rd longest postseason drought in the NHL. So they have some, so I saw this and I was like, all right. They 225, 261 losses, 59 ties, regular season, 467 points percentage, 29th in the NHL over that span. They do have some good players. They did develop some good players. They got Matt Duchene. But shortly after getting Duchene, they reversed course and headed toward a complete rebuild. Matt Murray and Michael DeSoto also resulted in tumultuous departures from Ottawa. Yeah, crazy, right? So basically the Golden Knights were exonerated on Wednesday. Yeah, crazy. So they didn't supply Dadonov's no-trade list to the Golden Knights upon his arrival, which sounds like that's a bad thing. Yeah, back in 2022, the Knights appeared to have egg in their face when their March 23rd deadline day trade was nixed. Wow, kind of crazy, right? They were unaware of that clause. Yeah. Senators were to blame. They said upon completing the trade call, as sources say is customary on the call, there's a record of the Golden Knights representative asking if the team needed to be aware of any no trade clauses. They were told no, and no list was passed along. That's kind of a big thing. Donadov's agent provided proof that he indeed submitted a previous no trade list to Ottawa. Yeah, that shows. Yeah, that's a mess. Yeah, so it's happened before, and it'll happen again. So that was kind of interesting. And World Cup, they said, could be coming 2034 to Saudi Arabia. They're the only ones to bid. That sucks. And how about this? Martin Bacoli said he suffered multiple stings as he swallowed a wasp during a fourth-round TKO victory over Carlos Takam on Saturday in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Number 9 heavyweight began coughing during his interview with IFL TV on Saturday as he discussed it. He said he battered Takam, a former heavyweight title challenger, until the referee halted the Fury Ngannou undercard bout. He said, still coughing until now, and it just disturbs me in the ring. And I was surprised it's in my mouth. I was vomiting in my changing room. I kept vomiting for 1 minute. I think the wasp is still here. He's 21, 15 KOs, upset Olympic gold medalist Tony Yoka last year in Paris. Bacol's only defeat came against Michael Hunter in 2018 via a 10th round TKO. He's younger brother of former cruiserweight title holder Junior Makabu, a native of the Democratic Republic of Congo. He fights out of the UK as he inches closer to his first heavyweight title shot. And the Sphere, the Sphere in Vegas. So Warner Brothers Discovery, TNT Sports have completed a multi-year deal with California-based Cosm. They're going to have broadcasting. There's 2 locations that's going to have an live immersive dome venues developed by Cosm. One in LA and one in Dallas will open in 2024. It accommodates about 2,000 people between seats and standing areas with more sites in development. I think that's cool, man. That Sphere thing, to see it. So it's like, you don't need to wear, like glasses or anything. It's just, we went to the party this weekend, and Michigan's friend Steven went to see U2 there, and he just showed, it looked like you were outside. The Sphere was set up like you were in outdoor seating. He just showed us all these pictures. I was like, holy shit. He goes, you're like, and it's like the sound's coming from everywhere. There's no speakers on the stage, and it's just like this sound all around you. And it's like you're in like it's like it just looks amazing. It looks like this wild thing that you're just like, holy shit, that is really cool. So I was like, that is very cool. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. And Coco Gauff, what I see here, yeah, right. Won her first career win at the WTA Finals Monday, became the first American teenager. Hey, Dr. Bumbles is here. She beat Anas Jabeur, 50th of the season, making her the first teenager to reach that mark in a single year since 2009. She's going to go against Iga Swiatek. Oh, it's this afternoon. Let's see how she did, because we are much later in the day now. Let's see. Coco, she is losing 4-0 in the first set. Okay, so she's not playing great. Okay. And Jessica Pegula beat Arnya Sabalenka, 6-4, 6-3. How about this weekend? Wisconsin, Minnesota became the most watched in NCAA history. Wisconsin won 3-0, 1.66 million viewers, breaking the record of 1.19 who watched last year's title game. It took advantage of an excellent timing on Fox, filling the 4 p.m. Sunday slot, usually reserved for NFL games in 76% of the country. So it was on Fox. Wow. More viewers than Formula One on ABC, the Premier League on NBC, and the NFL Countdown on ESPN. People want to watch different shit, man. They do. And UFC, how about this? He's supposed to fight Halton Almeida at UFC Sao Paulo this week. Derek Lewis was doing 136 in a 50-mile zone in Houston in a Lamborghini, weaving in and out of traffic. 136 in a 50. Guess he had to get somewhere, right? Yeah, I guess he did. And lax federations formed LA 28 to increase participation ahead of LA 28 Olympics, which I think it's good for them all to get together, especially Olympics coming. First time a medal sport since the 1908 Summer Games in London, in LA. Wow, that's pretty crazy. And this is from Nick Mellinson. She said, I'm not usually one to raise alarms. The Greg Hill show, this guy said that suggests Matt Petgrave intentionally kicked Adam Johnson with his skate, which suggests Matt Petgrave intentionally kicked Adam Johnson with his skate, which ultimately killed him. Chris Curtis follows up by saying he wants a skate to the neck after Mac Jones threw an intercept yesterday. They said WEEI in Boston. And I heard that now they're going to look into maybe putting neck guards on all the hockey players, which I don't understand why they don't have. I think, after Dale Earnhardt got killed at the Daytona 500, they put something around the helmets because his neck just basically snapped when he hit. That they put like neck harnesses on the drivers. They put more safety things in place. Why not put something? God forbid a skate. This has happened. It's going to happen again. Michigan says she's surprised it doesn't happen more often, and I agree with her that that I think a neck guard should be everywhere. Yeah. So I totally agree on that front, man. I think that's something. Protect everybody, right? Yeah, I'm trying to see if I missed Halliburton out versus Celtics. Yeah, nobody's pleased with the start of the Raiders. Cam Hayward from IR to active roster Thursday versus the Titans. I like that. Manchester's out of the EFL Cup. United, they haven't been playing well for a while. They took out a $50 million loan to Padres. Wow. Oh, and the last 2-minute reports explains Trey Jones made marginal contact before Keldon Johnson's stealing game winner. You knew that was going to happen. You knew that was happening. Reggie Bush puts Caleb Williams among legends, top 5. Yeah, I don't know about that. Caleb Williams hasn't won shit. He won the Heisman, but he hasn't won any championships. Really? Matt Leinart? Carson Palmer? Well, did Carson Palmer win anything? Yeah, I don't know about that, man. Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that. Yeah. Yeah, top 5 quarterbacks? Yeah, I don't know about that. Yeah, I don't know. Caleb Williams, top 5 of all time? That's been a lot of quarterbacks. He didn't even go to a goddamn Rose Bowl. He didn't play in any big games. Nah, I don't know about that. Yeah. Yeah, I need to look this one up. Top 5, he has. Yeah, I don't know about that. Top 5. I'm trying to see what his list is. He's not really. God damn it! Couldn't see what the list is. I kind of want to see what his list is. Now I'm intrigued. Okay, did I get it? And of course I didn't get it. Fuck. Yeah, it's impossible to get this list going. What do you say here? Oh, Matt Leinart first. Caleb Williams. Rodney Peete and Mark Sanchez. Jesus Christ. Good God. There's USC quarterbacks. Mark Sanchez. Rodney Peete had a good run. Quarterbacks all time. Matt Barkley didn't do. You're USC quarterback. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like, Matt Leinart, Rodney Peete. Let me think. Pat Hayden had a pretty good career. Marinovich had a run. I think Matt Castle didn't play at all. I'm trying to see all these quarterbacks. Maybe he's right. I don't know enough of the players back then, but it seems like a small list, right? Yeah, Caleb Williams, top. He didn't really win anything. He won a Heisman, but he didn't really win any big games when he was at USC. Marinovich played in Rose Bowls. Rodney Peete played in Rose Bowls. Mark Sanchez wasn't a Rose Bowl MVP, but he was only quarterback for a year or two. Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. All right, I know I had some other stuff here. The Raiders, Stockton is playing at 7. Yeah. Need more time to evaluate. You gotta give more time. You okay sniffing and coughing? Yeah. I sound terrible? Yeah, I'm probably getting sick again, dude. It's all right. Go to Texas tomorrow. We'll see what happens. Yeah, you know how it is. Just up and down, up and down. Thanks, though. Chris Russo loses his mind over Chiefs, Dolphins, burdening churchgoers. I got to pray to my God. Well, dude, you know what? Then maybe you go to a later church service. If you really want to watch that game, go to later. Isn't there church? Bubbles, you go to church a lot. I mean, you should know, right? Isn't there church services all the time? Yeah, there should be. I mean, and Chris, wasn't Russo retiring because he was pissed that Diamondbacks won the World Series? Just shut the fuck up, Chris. Nobody cares. That's not news. Thank you so much, my friend. Russell Westbrook this season, 13 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals, 56 from the field, 18 plus minus, 31.3 minutes per game. Yes, and now he's going to bring James Harden. That should ruin that whole team. Darren Waller is dealing with another hamstring injury. He said he's likely to be out potentially weeks, which will piss off Harris. The amount of weeks he's not sure. It may take a little bit. Very unlikely to play against the Raiders. Next week versus Cowboys also in question. Darren Waller seems like he can't stay healthy. And Durant thinks the Nets could be the wild card team in the in-season tournament. They got so much length and athleticism over there. Their point guard is like 6'6". Yay. You see the snow yesterday? Toledo versus Buffalo? Oh, it was a lot of snow. And Toledo plays in the Glass Bowl because because it is the glass capital of the world, Toledo. That's why it was called the Glass Bowl. But it was played in a torrential snowstorm, a blizzard, which I thought was kind of cool. So I saw that yesterday. I was like, well, that's pretty cool. Yeah, so the Glass Bowl because of the glass capital of the world. Yeah, look at this. It's a lot of snow, dude. I mean, that's like what you dream as a kid, that kind of snow, right? You dream about that snow. You dream about that as a kid. And the Nets are at the Heat, and the Knicks host the Cavaliers tonight. Yay, I'm very excited. I don't get excited to watch basketball. Too early. I'll watch football before I watch that crap. And what did Derrick Henry under the big lights? Most rushing yards per primetime game since 2000, including regular season and postseason, minimum 10 primetime games. And in Derrick Henry in 20 games, 1,913 yards, 18 touchdowns, 95.7 yards per game. Second is Edgerrin James, Sean Alexander, played with Seattle. Tiki played in 21. LaShawn McCoy played in 37 of those games. Wow, 37. Le'Veon Bell, then Amon Green, Arian Foster, Jamal Lewis, and Chris Johnson. Now, also, they're going the games, the most yardage of those games, well, he played 37, was LaShawn McCoy with over 3,000. That's some pretty good numbers. I mean, I know it's not 95 yards a game. That's a lot of games. That's a lot of yardage in primetime games. I thought that was kind of interesting. And this was from Bumbles. Thank you. The tied for 6th most home runs in the postseason with Albert Pujols, George Springer, and Alex Bregman is Corey Seager with 19. He's one behind Kyle Schwarber, Derek Jeter. Manny Ramirez is 2 ahead of Altuve, who's 5 ahead of Bernie Williams, Derek Jeter with 20, Mr. November. Players of the week was Jalen Hurts for the Eagles in the NFC, then linebacker Frankie Louvu for the Panthers, 12 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, 2 pass defenses, and a sack. And Braden Aubrey, 2 for 2 for field goals, 11 kicking points. Longest field goal made by rookie this season, and tied for longest made by a rookie since 2019, 58-yarder against the Rams. Joe Burrow, tied for 5th most with games with 3+ passing touchdowns in first 4 seasons in NFL history with 16. Threw for 283, 3 touchdowns. He had a play where they're trying to tackle him. He switched the ball to his left hand, got away from Bosa, switched it to the other hand, and got a completion off. It was amazing to watch. It was a great video I saw. Justin Simmons for the Broncos, 2 tackles, an interception, and a fumble recovery. 4th most interceptions by an active safety in NFL history with 29. And special teams was the Jets' Thomas Morstead, 3rd punter to earn honor with 3+ teams, joining Tom Tupa, Tom Tupa has 4, and Matt Turk has 3. 3 punts inside of the 5, 48.1 average, 43 net, and 55-yard was his longest. It's pretty good, right? I say that's pretty good. Yeah. So those are the players of the week. Yeah, and pickleball, they even have covers. I can get a UNC pickleball cover. Pretty cool, right? All right. Let me get to some trivia questions because I realize I've been talking for a long, long time. Yes, a long show, but I was pissed off about the Raiders. Sorry, Bob Knight has passed away. 83. Bob Knight. 83. Wow. Hell of a coach. Hell of a temper, but a hell of a coach. Old school coach. Coach Jordan at the 84 Olympics. Wow. Bobby Knight. Wow. It's amazing. Yes, Bob Knight dead at 83. Wow. Bobby Knight. It's crazy. Hey, Bumbles, you need a picture on Instagram. You need something there. You're the only guy I know who has nothing as his picture. You got to change that shit. All right. Last show's trivia question was, which player holds the NBA single game record for most points scored on Halloween? Curry, Iverson, Dantley, or Chamberlain? Now, I thought it was Chamberlain. No. Curry in 2015, 53 against Anthony Davis and the Pelicans. 53, 7 of 27, 8 for 14 from 3. 28 in the third quarter alone. They won 134-120. Before him, the record was Adrian Dantley, who had 50 against the Mavs in 1980. What record did the Texas Rangers set last night? It is a MLB postseason record. And it's also a franchise record. So it's a postseason and franchise record that the Rangers set last night in their win over the Diamondbacks. So today they can win their first title ever. We have basketball. We have hockey tonight. Do the Rangers play tonight? No, we have football. Do we have football tonight? I didn't even see. Do we have football tonight? Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, we got Sabres. No local teams playing. But the Yotes are playing the Ducks. We got Ball State versus Bowling Green and Kent State versus Akron. That's tonight. Tomorrow we got Pittsburgh versus Will Levis and the Titans. I think Kenny Pickett's playing tomorrow. That should be exciting. And I'm trying to see what the football game. Okay, tomorrow is TCU, Texas Tech, Wake Forest, Duke, and South Alabama, Troy. Friday's Boston College, Syracuse, Colorado State, Wyoming. Yay. And North Carolina plays Campbell. What the fuck's the point of Campbell? UNC playing Campbell in football. I mean, that's not even a football game. Come on. And now watch, Campbell will beat them. Please. It pisses me. That whole thing pisses me off, dude. And Michigan plays Purdue. I think that's a night game. Michigan, is that Purdue? No, host Purdue. All right, we'll see what happens. All right, Josh. He already left, but where did that guy go? Josh, thanks for all the good stuff today. Where's that other guy? What's that other guy's name? Chris. Oh, Chris. That's my buddy Chris. Happy birthday, Chris. Yeah, it's Chris' birthday today, man. I never knew what Chris's name was, so that's Chris. I think that's Chris. Yeah, happy birthday, Chris. I did wish him happy birthday today. Because I never knew his last name. That's my boy Chris. Happy birthday, man. Happy birthday. Josh, thank you. Bumbles, thank you. Jason, thanks for the stuff today. Raiders fans, Randy, I feel for you. And hopefully you'll get some good guys going forward. Lighting was very good today. Thank you all. Some of to Michigan. My mom, Mrs. S, Carol and Carol. Happy birthday, Chris. Hal, I'll see you tomorrow. Frank, you didn't send me any goddamn Halloween pictures either, Hal. But Frank, you said you were sending me. I never got Halloween pictures. I'm still pissed. Stockton, Thomas, kick ass tonight against Montclair State. Go Ospreys. Peace out. Adios.